Hello everybody, my name is Hans Washington and I am an infectious disease specialist from Flushing, New York, and I am here in my home today to just give you a few pointers about... What is that?
Make that curve as flat as my ass. Make that curve. Make that curve as flat as my ass. Make that curve as flat as my ass. Make that curve as flat as my ass. Make it flat as my ass.
Oh, I am so very sorry for that. Really sorry. I'm so embarrassed. Sorry.
Black Cherry Puppet Theater presents Virtual Puppet Slamwich, 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 Slamwich.
The wrong way? Oh. Oh! Huh. Hello everyone, and welcome to this, the very first ever virtual puppet slamwich. We've learned how to take videos, how to edit them, and how to compile them for your very own viewing pleasure in your very own home. My name is Emily Schubert, and I would like to take a moment at the top of the show to thank Michael Lamison and the Black Cherry Puppet Theater for supporting this event. I would also like to thank Heather Henson and the HBH Fund, as well as all city and state arts funding, which is, during this present crisis, more important than ever to us creatives, artists, puppeteers, and musicians alike. We have a fantastic virtual slam for you, with many artists and musicians represented, so if you do feel so inclined, please press that donate link to help us help them in this time of need. It is also my job, during every slam, to warm up the audience, and I don't think that a virtual slam should be any different. So, without further ado, please put your audience cap on. Please realize that even though this is a virtual slam, I can see you. Put it on. Excellent. Puppets are their most animated selves, even in video format, when they have a very active audience. So, get ready to give me your very best reactions. What would your reaction be if something hilarious were to happen? What about something quite tragic? What about something super adorable? What about something rather confusing? The nature of a puppet slam, even a virtual one, is that we're not really sure what will happen. Now, imagine witnessing something mind-blowing happen. Excellent. I think you're ready.
Hello everyone, I'm your host, the Blobfish. It's easy to get down during times like these. I should know. Gravity is always getting me down, and the lack of pressure here on the surface compared to the ocean bottom. But hey, there are always puppets to help resist the gloom. First up, we have a recently topical video by Noah Ginnix from Chicago with The Rabbit and the Resurrection.
Easter, most confusing of religious holidays. The Catholic lawyers arguing litigious holy ways. When it comes to crucifixion, there's simply nothing funny. So welcome in the fiction of the chocolate-hiding bunny. The Easter bunny represents a conundrum for a kid, 'cause logomorphs like rodents don't lay eggs like hen or squid. Nobody's rejected, they've a reproductive habit, and experts have accepted it's a hare and not a rabbit. E is for the eggs, A is for ascension, S is for the sins that some guy died for. D is for the treats, E is for the eats, R is for the resurrection. Easter replaced Astra, the pagan festive lights, where people faced the moon and fornicated day and night. And to the pagan clergy, a question that I beg: why'd you trade the orgies for a bunch of boring eggs? E is for the eggs, A is for ascension, S is for the sins that somebody died for. T is for the treats, E is for the eats, R is for the E is for the eggs, A is for ascension, S is for the sins that the Lord died for. T is for the treats, E is for the eats, R is for the rabbit and the resurrection.
Huh? Where'd you go, Toronto?
Down here.
All right. Okay.
Do, 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 do. What a catchy song. How about another catchy song from Eric Voberil in Washington State?
Hi everyone, this is Eric Voberil in Tacoma, Washington. You know, before I moved away from Baltimore, I didn't realize other cities do not have their own enchanted row houses of puppetry like the Black Cherry Puppet Theater, where one can witness the sublime and the hilarious on a regular basis. So, in a tribute to Black Cherry and the strange times we are in, I am wearing this hat inside my living room, and I'd like to play a song called Acony Bell by Gillian Welch. The fairest flower the mountain knows is not an iris or a wild rose, but a little flower of which I'll tell, known as the brave Acony Bell. Just a little flower, so small and plain, with a pearly hue and a little known name, but the yellowbird sings to see it bloom, 'cause it knows that spring is coming soon. Well, it makes its home in the rocks and the rills, where the snow lies deep on a windy hill, and it tells the world, why should I wait? This ice and snow is gonna melt away, and so I'll sing that yellowbird song for the troubled times will soon be gone. Be well, everyone.
Next up, we have Schroeder Cherry with his piece, The Civil Rights Children's Crusade. Hi, Daisy.
My name is DeAndre, and my grandfather is really strict. He's always on my case. Stand up straight. Sit up straight. Pull your pants up. Wear a belt. Always something. Makes me wonder, what was he like when he was a kid? One day, we were moving some boxes in the basement, and I found this old newspaper. It had a headline on the front page that said, "Colored children go to jail." It had a photograph of kids who were in the jail. Guess whose face was right there in the middle of those little kids in jail? My grandfather. Yep, couldn't miss him. Same little beady eyes, long nose, and big ears. My granddaddy has some big ears still to today, so you couldn't miss him. So I'm thinking, Granddad was in jail when he was a little kid. Holy wow. You know, I had to figure out what was going on with that. So, as it turned out, when my granddad was a little boy, they had signs all over the place. Some of them looked like this, and they had signs that looked like this. And you would see those signs all over the place. They'd be on hotels, on schools, on buses, and restaurants. And if you saw a sign like this in a restaurant, that means that you could go there if you were colored or African American or Negro or black, then you could go there. But if you went to a restaurant and you saw this sign, it meant that, well, you get the idea. Can you imagine what it would be like if we had those signs today in Popeyes or McDonald's or Burger King or Chipotle? No, man, people wouldn't like that. Well, people didn't like it back then either. In fact, it caused a whole bunch of fuss and argumentation. And people were trying to figure out how they could change those signs. But they weren't having a lot of luck with changing the signs, so they called a big meeting in the church in the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. That was the largest church in Birmingham, and a lot of people showed up at that meeting. They were trying to figure out, what can we do for this movement? One guy, he worked with kids. His last name was Bevel. And Bevel, he came into the church and he said, we need to let the youth march nonviolently. We can teach them how to march nonviolently, and we can fill up the jails with youth. Now, not everybody liked that idea of letting their children go to jail because, well, that was kind of dangerous. But they talked about it. They talked about it for a long time. Even Martin Luther King Jr., he wasn't sure if the kids could go to jail. But one of the reverends, his name was Fred Shuttleworth. Fred Shuttleworth said, you got to use what you got. So they let the children learn how to protest nonviolently. And when the time came for them to protest, there was a DJ on the radio. His name was Pretty Boy Shelley. And Pretty Boy Shelley said, children, there's going to be a party in the park. Show up at 12 o'clock. Well, that was a school day. And when 12 o'clock came around, kids walked out of school, they jumped out of windows, they ran out of doors, and they marched right down to the 16th Street Baptist Church. They came from all over Birmingham, Alabama. Now, they knew that there were going to be some policemen to show up, and they did. The policemen showed up, and they had their batons, but the kids knew that they weren't supposed to fight. They were supposed to be nonviolent. So they didn't put up a fight with the police. What happened was they pulled in a lot of police cars. So the police cars came and they took the kids away. They took the kids away and they put them to jail. That was the first day. Now on the second day, more kids showed up. They came from all over Birmingham, Alabama, and they came from other cities too. Some of those kids came from as far away as 18 miles. And once again, the police showed up, but this time the police showed up and they brought attack dogs. I want you to know these attack dogs were some kind of mean. They were trained to like grip your body and bite into you and just tear you apart. Also, they brought in the firemen. And the firemen, they turned on their fire hoses. These fire hoses were so powerful, they blew some of those children away. Now, there was a lot of TV people and cameras, and when they turned on the fire hoses, those kids were blown all the way down the street. They just blew them all away. That caused a lot of commotion with people seeing those kids washed away like that. And there were so many kids who had to be carried away, they had to use yellow school buses to bring them to jail. So the yellow school buses came and picked them up, carried them off to jail. The jails were so full, they had to put kids in school because they ran out of space. Now people really had their attention. On the third day, the police showed up, the dogs showed up, the firemen showed up, but this time the firemen didn't put on their water hoses. They didn't turn them on because they were just tired. So the kids, they were marching, they were protesting nonviolently, and even the chief of police, he was really hot. He said, turn on those fire hoses, blow those kids away and put them to jail. But they didn't do it. They didn't turn them on. And more kids showed up, and more kids showed up, and that's when a lot of people got their attention toward the Children's Crusade for the Civil Rights Movement. And my granddad was right up there in the middle of all those kids. Hot dang! I mean, wow.
You know, sometimes it's good to just look at the sky. Next up, we have a musical number by Jonathan Vokey.
Old Mr. Spindleleg's looking at me. I hope through the water that he can't see. For if he can, then he'll give me a peck, and he'll pluck me right out, and he'll snap off my neck. He's tall and skinny and hungry and fast, so I best keep still in this aquatic grass. For if a move do I untimely make, then he'll come straight away and my neck he will break. Ooh. I can tell by his feet that he's been hunting for days, and by the devilish look in his bloodthirsty gaze. Though fish oil be good for the skin and the mind, mine I'd soon keep in my own scaly hide. So I'll wait right here until he goes away. That he takes his leave of me is all that I pray. For if I move but a one single inch, then he'll dip in his beak and he'll give me a pinch. Oh, Mr. Spindleleg's looking at me. I hope through the water that he can't see. For if he can, then he'll give me a peck, and he'll pluck me right out, and he'll snap off my neck.
Even during these crazy times, you can't stop spring. Look, these blooms are pink like me. And like this beautiful piece by Liz Downing. Some days are good for smelling flowers and listening to the birds. And this talented musician, Marianne McLaughlin. And now, Felicia Cooper with Thing Power, followed by a tune called Flambée by Sassy and the Whale. even if we can't be together, we can watch the lovely puppets of Valeska Popolo in sessile communities of attachment.
I've been taking a lot of comfort in reading about the Chesapeake Bay as of late. This massive estuary that I live nearby was formed some 12,000 years ago when the last great ice sheets melted, flooding an ancient river valley. The Chesapeake is home to sessile communities. Do you know that word? I just learned it. Sessile. It basically means communities of organisms that are stuck in one place and use one another as a place for attachment. One of the organisms that I've been reading about lately are barnacles. Some people don't realize that these stone-like creatures are alive. I mean, I guess that's understandable. They stay in one place and they're hard like rocks. But if you're lucky, you might see them opening their doors and letting out their feathery appendages, which they use to sweep up tiny particles in the water to eat. One biologist, Louis Agassiz, describes barnacles as little more than a shrimp-like animal standing on its head, kicking food into its mouth. But life can be stressful in these communities. All these organisms vying for the same resources. And since they can't move, they're vulnerable to storms and waves. That dislodge them from their moorings. Barnacles are hermaphrodites, which means that they have both male and female sex organs. But in order to make babies, they have to cross-fertilize. And they can only do that if they're close together. So in these stressful times, as we dwell in our little shelters, stay close, nonetheless. And hang in there.
I thought showing you my collection of hammers seemed appropriate as preparation for the band Geraldine sharing with us their song 100 Hammers. This one is my favorite. He's a little crooked, but he tries so hard.
Now we're falling apart, but 100 hammers can't break my heart. You're a kick in the shin, you're a shot in the arm, but 100 hammers can't break my heart. Why smile to strangers? I dance in the rain. I got no angers, feeling the pain. Hello to good times, it's a good time to start. 100 hammers can't break my heart. My engine stalls, gotta push it to start, but 100 hammers can't break my heart. You're my sunrise, you light up the dark, but 100 hammers can't break my heart. Why smile at strangers? I dance in the rain. I got no angers, feeling the pain. Hello to good times, it's a good time to start. 100 hammers can't break my heart. But 100 hammers can't break my heart. Cause the ending is easy, and so is the start. When 100 hammers can't break my heart. Why smile at strangers? I dance in the rain. I got no angers, I'm feeling the pain. Hello to good times, it's a good time to start. 100 hammers can't break my heart. 100 hammers can't break my heart. 100 hammers can't break my heart.
You can do it, little fern. Just grow big and strong. This next piece is our last one, I'm sad to say. But don't worry, there are more slams on their way. We have the Lantern Sisters, with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And until next time, remember to resist the gloom. You can do it.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And the traveler in the dark thanks you for your tiny spark. He would not know which way to go if you did not twinkle so. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Well everyone, that's it for our first ever virtual puppet slam. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you haven't yet, check out that donation link. I'd like to give a couple more thank yous to Kyle Haas and Olivia Brand for all of their tech support and editing help. And another shout out to Matt Muirhead for his awesome poster making and video making. And we'll see you again back here for Virtual Puppet Slam number 2.